Hey, what's up guys? We got an awesome gardening video for you today. We're here in Glendale, Arizona. And what are you doing, Shamus, right now?
Right now we're re-mulching the starter tree.
Okay. So that's what's in these bags right here?
Correct.
So it looks like what, just leaves?
Yeah.
Organic material pretty much.
Now we have to do this 2 or 3 times throughout the year.
Okay.
A little bit more frequently when it warms up, because then everything becomes active, all the microbes and the bugs start eating it. So in the winter, the mulch will sit, nothing much really happens with it. But when we get to spring and summer, especially when we get the monsoons with rain, combined with the heat, this stuff will break down in like 30 to 60 days.
Oh, wow.
Literally. So you can see here that this tree had nothing on it.
Right.
Because it's been a couple months since we've done it.
We're just gonna pile this all around the tree?
Correct. And we use everything. We use leaves, grass clippings, pine needles. We use oleander leaves. You can use vegetable scraps.
Okay. Okay, so the most important question is, why are we doing this?
Well, there's a few different reasons. Number one is mulch is insulation for the soil. As hot and dry as we are here, we need to protect the ground. We need to protect the roots that are underneath the ground from our 120-degree heat, no rainfall, intense sun. Right. So when you mulch properly, your ground will stay cooler, anywhere from 20 to 25 degrees cooler underneath 8 to 12 inches of mulch, which keeps the roots that much cooler as well too. So even though up top the tree might be struggling a little bit, as long as the root zone and the trunk are happy, the tree's going to be happy. 2, this provides a habitat for all the bugs and the microbes and all the good stuff that we want in our soil that you have to have for a healthy living soil.
The good stuff.
Correct. You cannot have a bare, dry, flat soil, and that's not going to work as a healthy soil.
Right.
You need to provide a home for all of those things. And then also this is food for all of those bugs. So there's a few more pine needles behind you if you want to throw those in here too. Now generally, what we do is I like to start off with at least 12 inches of mulch. And I know some people don't agree with that.
Right.
But that's what works for me, and that's what's worked for the people that I've imitated. Like the Doug Joneses and the Monty Palmers and the Dr. Al's.
So they all mulch?
Correct. These are things that I learned from them.
Wow.
So when I see someone successfully growing bananas and guavas and avocados and all these things in the desert, and you look at what it is that they're doing differently from most people, they're adding tons and tons of mulch throughout the year. And so I'm just mimicking them. They actually go a lot deeper than this, but today, for presentation purposes, this is what we're going to do. But I like to quote 12 inches also because I know that people in general will always use a little bit less. Right. So if you say 6 inches, they're going to put 2. If you put 12, they're going to put 8. So I like to use anywhere from 12 to 16 inches of mulch, and I like to come out at least to the drip line of the tree.
So drip line is where?
The drip line is the farthest point of the branches of the foliage.
Okay.
So when it rains, which it doesn't do here, when it rains, this is where the water drips. And in theory, normally with a mature tree, the roots extend out to the drip line. So you want to mulch that area. So I like to go about 12 inches deep. You can see here, I have a size 12 shoe.
Your big foot?
Yeah, so it's 10, 12 inches, depending on what part of the pile it's at. And then we're coming out 1, 2, about 2.5 foot right now. We're gonna pull it just off the trunk a little bit.
Okay.
I have found that this is not completely necessary here in Arizona because we're so dry, but it's not gonna hurt.
So my question to you is, I know you mentioned a few people that you mimic and who are very successful. How long have they been doing it?
They've been doing this 20 plus years.
20 plus years?
Right. They've been doing it before Facebook was around. They've been doing it before, you know, the internet groups telling them how to do it. Right. This is through their personal trial and error experimentation. So I figure if they know what they're doing, I'm going to mimic them. Right. This isn't something that I just came up with.
So you have success with mulch. I feel like our yard has been successful with mulch as well, and we're doing the same thing, just mimicking.
And honestly, you know, over the past 2 weeks, we've been out doing a lot of consultations. We've done about 30 of them in the past week and a half. I have yet to see a yard that is properly mulched that has dead trees in it. Okay. If it's properly mulched, all their trees are doing fine, even through the extreme heat. Right. Many of the yards that I've seen where trees are struggling, the common denominator is lack of mulch. You know, 1 inch of wood chips is not going to cut it. We're just too hot here, and it's been a desert for millions of years. We don't have the organic material here. So if you're growing mesquite and palo verde and native trees, cool.
Different.
You don't need to do those things, although it will benefit those as well.
Right.
But if you're going to bring trees in that are not native to our climate, all these fruit trees and these things, you need to provide more nutrients than are what available in our soil already.
Right.
So
a native climate, even like Florida and Hawaii, they mulch.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't people in the desert mulch? Would be
and just going to that point, they've figured out that it cuts down on water usage. So if they're doing that in Florida and Hawaii where they have plenty of rainfall,
right,
they're still trying to do something as far as water conservation.
Right.
Some people have asked and have mentioned that, well, if you're mulching, it keeps the ground wet, therefore it encourages shallow roots. I have not found that to be true at all. When you're mulching properly, you water a lot less frequently, deeper, slower. The roots are going to follow gravity.
Right.
Roots are growing this way when they're looking for something. If you're giving them what they need, they're going to follow gravity.
They have it there. Right.
I don't have a PhD in plant biology. I've got a 4th grade education, literally.
Right.
Some of these things just seem to make sense to me, and the people that are preaching it are doing it successfully. So I'm just mimicking them and trying to, you know, share a little bit of that knowledge.
And it seems like even like Mother Nature out in the woods, like when I go there, there's mulch everywhere.
That's something I heard the other day. No one's mulching in the forest. Well, last time I checked, the forest has been there a million years, and there's probably a mile and a half of organic material. So that is correct. No one needs to mulch in the forest because Mother Nature does it on her own.
Right.
Here in the desert, we don't have many trees and vegetation, so we need to add mulch.
The mulch, right.
If you don't want to, that's fine. It's your yard.
All right.
In our yard, this is what we do, and you can see the proof.
It's a beautiful
in the pudding.
tree. Right. So this is star fruit?
This is a star fruit here.
Beautiful.
This guy's coming up on about 3 years old. Healthy, nice green foliage. There's no burn.
Right.
I've seen many pictures lately of, you know, star fruits that don't look really good. They're fussy trees. They're sensitive. They are. But as you can see, they're doing something. Something's being done right. You can see by looking around the yard that there's gorgeous avocados with deep dark green foliage.
And I see a bunch of mulch.
You see a bunch of mulch. You see there's jaboticaba, there's mangoes, there's ice cream bean, there's white sapote, there's bananas, there's adamoya, there's figs, there's loquats.
The list goes on.
Papayas, lychees.
So what you're saying to anyone out there who gardens, from your experience, is to mulch your trees. You've watched people who are very successful, been in it for 20 plus years, and they're mulching, so mulch your trees.
It's not my advice. It's not coming from me.
Right.
It's coming from the people that were doing it long before I have.
Okay.
They're the teachers. I'm the student. I'm just trying to pass something along to save some folks a little bit of time.
Right.
Like I said, about a foot depth. It's not that much. You don't need a volcano around the tree.
Right.
In theory, the entire property should be mulched.
Right.
We've got 2 acres here. We're not going to do that. But at least a few foot off the, you know, coming out to the drip line. You don't have to pile it right against the trunk. Pull it out a little bit. That's cool.
Right, I see that.
But 2-3 foot of mulch, a foot depth, and you'll see with proper mulching that the results will be in a healthier tree. And you'll find that in a month or two, you're going to have to reapply. Because this stuff will break down really quickly. When we get heat and we get monsoons, this stuff will be gone in 45 days. You know, we need to add a couple more bags on there. So
it breaks down.
That's
perfect. It's a very important video. Thank you for sharing your experiences with us.
Not a problem.
Saving everybody time, money, and hassle. We hope your guys' gardens are doing good right now. Thanks always for having us.
Thank you, sir.